All right, we should be live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Uncanny Adventures, Shadows Over Stillwater, Call of Cthulhu game. And we are returning to the small town of Stillwater, where our investigators have successfully captured and jailed their quarry, the gentleman that they were sent to bring back and put on trial for some crimes, possibly a murder. And unfortunately, after their long day, their night's rest was disturbed by someone deciding to set off fireworks over town, and the group decided to try and find out who did it. They didn't have any luck in determining who exactly was behind it, but they did find that there is something strange going on out in the mesa beyond town. And after some darkened figures on a cliff over the top of them tried to drop a rock on someone in the group, they decided it was probably best to head back and get a night's rest and regroup in the morning, which they did. They safely made it back to Stillwater, and they were able to settle in, get some sleep, wake up in the morning, and a stranger has just come strolling through the front door. At least a stranger to them, but he seems familiar to Duncan, and the people behind the bar seem to recognize him, perhaps. But we're going to come back, we're going to say hi to everybody, and then we're going to jump right in and see what's going on this morning in Stillwater. So why don't we go around, and we'll start with you, D-Sword.
Hi everybody, I am Derek Sword, or DSword16 on Twitter. I will save all of my plugs for the end, but I am going to be playing this week Solomon, or Sol Henson, who is a Civil War veteran who has seen quite a few mysteries in these parts and is just trying to get the job done. But now apparently a dead man has walked into a bar, and that is not the beginning of a joke. So I'm excited to see where this week goes.
Excellent. And Vivacia.
Hello, I'm Vivesha, and I'm playing Dr. Viola Markward, who is trying to keep some people safe, but it does not always work. Guess they don't always listen, but that's okay. And yeah, I'm betting she's going to be super curious about that dead guy.
Indeed. And how about you, Vex?
Hi, I'm Vex. Playing Kiyo. Kiyo is really worried about whatever the hell's going to happen now.
Excellent. And Callie.
Hi, I'm Callie. I play Olive, who's proven that she's been very reckless, and still thinks she's drunk. So, let's see where that goes.
Yep. Olive may, in fact, still be drunk. That is a very good possibility. Or she may just hope she's drunk. So Duncan is pointing to the open doorway, and this shambling figure in dirty clothes looks like he literally just dug himself out of a hole somewhere. The skin is kind of shallow and drooping. You can see in some places where it looks like maybe it's been eaten by critters or bugs. And he walks through the open door and just kind of slowly shambles over toward the bar and pulls himself onto a stool at the bar and puts a hand on the bar and kind of slams it down on the bar 2 or 3 times, looking in the direction of Samuel Phibbs, the bartender, who is standing open mouth, holding a glass in one hand and a rag in the other, just looking at this figure sitting at the far end of the bar. Duncan leans in between all of you looking and says, "Should someone sell him? He's dead." It's just me.
Who is it?
Oh,
Who's that?
well, that's Mr. McGill, but he died. He died 2 weeks ago?
What do you mean he died? He
Like,
died and you buried him?
yeah, he was buried, as far as I know.
Well, there goes the craftsmanship of those coffins.
Oh, Root's gonna be so mad.
Duncan, what did he die from?
I think he fell. And
I don't think he fell that hard if he's in here now.
well, he was, I mean, I don't know. Should maybe one of us go up and ask him what's going on and what he's doing?
Oh, I really don't want to touch him, but I would like to take a look at this because this is like, yeah, scientifically normally impossible. So let's take a look at that and figure that out. And she like tilts her head and just looks at him like, how in the world? Like she's trying to fix a puzzle in her head, and she's like, and it just doesn't click, like a Rubik's cube with the stickers on wrong, and it's like.
Mm-hmm. Do you get closer to him to get a better look at this?
Yes, but I'm going to stay out of his reach.
Okay.
Yeah, Kiyo's probably saying she's at least keeping a close eye, and her one hand kind of you can see she's not quite calm, is the best way to put it. I can't think of the word for it right now. She's waiting for trouble to happen is the best way to say it.
Sounds good. So, Doctor, do you want to roll me like a medicine roll or something to try and figure out what the situation was with this gentleman?
Yes. I forgot again. Am I hitting purple or green?
I believe you want to hit the green if you don't have any advantage die. I always forget too.
Okay.
Haha, success. So as you kind of step a little bit closer, but stay away from the general area of where you think he can reach, his attention is still focused down the bar looking at Samuel, who hasn't moved yet. He's still standing kind of with his mouth just open. And again, the figure at the bar sort of taps, boom, 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 on the bar. And you're looking, and you're kind of seeing him from behind, and it looks like you can see where he had there's like this contusion on the back of his head. And your training tells you that could have easily been a blow that killed him. And then you see a mouse crawl out of his hair.
Yeah, I think with that, Sol is at least drawing his sidearm. That's he's seen a lot of injuries. He's not necessarily pointing the gun at him just yet, but he's seen a lot of injuries in war, and critters living inside you isn't something you just walk around with.
No, yeah, Kiyo has her hand very firmly on her parasol, pretty much just preparing.
Duncan looks over at Samuel and goes, Samuel, I think he wants a drink. Pour the man a drink, would you? I think my friend Sol here will pay for it, won't you? Nudges.
Mr. Phibbs, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. He looks over at you, his eyes are kind of bugging. He's like, he's dead. Dead don't usually drink alcohol.
Well, dead don't usually do nothing, but maybe just this one time, just slide him a drink, baby.
He reaches under the bar, picks up a bottle. There's a bunch of clanking of bottles. As he picks it up, he goes to pour into the cup he's holding, and his hand is shaking, and he puts the cup down on the bar, and he pours it. He puts down the bottle. He says, Barney, here you go, sir. And he slides it down the bar. Barney is going to try to catch his drink. Let's see. Barney. So, Barney's hand moves toward the drink as it goes down the bar, and the drink goes sliding past and off the bar and shatters on the floor, and his hand goes to where it was. And he leans back slow, looks at his empty hand, looks back at Samuel, and slams 3 times on the bar again. Samuel's like, oh shit. Goes back for another glass, pours it, walks a little closer and like slides it so that it stops a little before Barney. And you just see Barney like kind of pull himself across the bar and pull the glass over. And he drinks it. And you see where it looks like he does spill it down his face, but you also see it like coming out from holes. And then he empties the glass and puts it back on the bar and wipes his face with the back of his hand.
Am I still drunk?
Kiyo's trying to figure out the same thing right now.
Does he have a tongue? Or did that rot away? Because well, I am in this thing not quite know what a corpse would do for 2 weeks underground, if there would still be there or if something ate it. So.
Do you want to roll me a spot hidden and see if you can see if he has a tongue?
Let's do that. Maybe we'll see something else that's interesting that's not a mouse.
All right.
How about a rat?
Or grubs. There should be maggot, right?
Oh yes, definitely. You see maggots, and you do note that it looks like his tongue is partially still there, but it has been chewed on by something, and also one of his eyes is kind of sagging out of the socket a little bit, like a good pop to the back of the head could just loll it down the front of his face.
Kiyo's kind of like sharing eye, looking, like gives Sol a look, kind of like, should we take care of this or not?
Is he like slamming for another drink, or is he just sitting kind of content now?
Currently he's sitting quietly, like he's maybe enjoying the drink that he just had. It's been a while maybe since he's had one.
Mr. McGill, I think you've had your fill and then some, sir. Best be getting on where you came from.
He turns around on the stool and looks at you, head kind of sideways, and gets off the stool and turns and starts shuffling back toward the door he came through.
Yeah, holy shit, that actually worked.
He shuffles out the front door onto the porch.
Should we maybe follow him and see where he's going?
I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah, Kiyo's gonna see that. Kiyo figures Olive's going to follow too.
I mean, it's not like he's sprinting. I think we have a second.
We could probably finish our breakfast and follow him.
He was like, get my rifle ready because we don't know where he's going. Is he going back to his grave? Is he going back to his old house? What the heck?
Yeah.
The second one could definitely cause some problems. Yeah, certainly. I think it's probably a good idea, Miss Olive, to follow him.
And I'm not quite sure if he can still do words. Part of his tongue seems to be missing, and he got holes where the drinks are coming out. So.
Well, and critters where the drinks aren't.
So you all follow him out the front door onto the porch, and he has sort of shuffled over to the single step down to the street, and he tries to maneuver the single step, and you watch as he sort of just goes face first to the dirt and slides into the dirt. And there's a moment where he lies there almost perfectly still, and as that happens and he hits the ground, across the street, the front door of the undertaker's little office opens up, and you see Roop sort of stepping out. He has a, little cup that's, you can see in the morning air, steam rising off it like it's his morning coffee, and he's sort of starting to take a sip, and he kind of looks over and makes eye contact with you, and he starts to raise a hand to say hello, and then the fellow on the ground moves and tries to get up, and Roop's eyes just sort of lower down, and he's just staring.
Yeah, what the fuck, Roop?
Good morning, Rube.
Someone gonna help? Who is that?
That's one of your customers, Roop. I guess his coffin wasn't top-notch quality.
What? he looks across at you all, and then Barney kind of gets himself sort of in a half-raised position, and he's looking directly at Roop, and Roop's like, no, 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 he's dead, I buried him 2 weeks ago, I put him in the ground, in the church cemetery, that man is dead. That man is dead. His coffee cup clatters across his porch, spilling coffee across the porch. And he kind of stumbles into the two coffins that he had standing up, and they clatter off the side of the porch. Barney gets up onto his feet and turns and starts shuffling down the main road, heading back toward the church.
Well, this is going to cause some confusion for everybody in this town.
It's caused some trauma for a few people in this town, including us.
Yes.
Yeah, Kiyo's kind of just like stunned silence right now. Like, she has no clue how to deal with this.
Holy shit, guys! It's a dead person.
Well, to be fair, it's an formerly an undead. It's one of them.
A person
one of them non-dead.
Formerly living and known as human. Yeah, that is very interesting.
An ambulant corpse, if you will.
Yes, and I can still not figure out how that ambulant corpse is walking. And she's kind of like, with her rifle, like, how is he even doing this? And
as you're looking down the street watching him, you see another figure down the street. Looks like he comes out from behind the corner where the sheriff's office is, and is kind of stumbling around, wandering about. Just give me a spot hidden check to see if you can get a better look on this figure. Oh, that's pretty good. That's good.
That's pretty good too for me.
Oh, I failed.
Okay,
I have a theory that he's 100 mice in a
pass.
person's suit.
So everyone but Olive sees this other figure down the street kind of wander around the corner from the marshal's office, and the three of you, Kiyo, Sol, and Viola, you recognize him as the young man who had been in the jail cell that wasn't making any sense. And now he seems to be wandering sort of aimlessly up the road, coming around the corner. He's kind of looking around, almost like he's lost.
how did he get out of his cell? You see him, right? You see that he got out? Is he going to hurt himself? What is going on here this morning? Where's the marshal?
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on here.
Oddly enough, I think that if one person in the town that I wouldn't be too concerned about running into a dead fella is the already crazy fella. So, at the same time, although that's kind of like a rock and a hard place meeting each other, I'm gonna go see if I can find the marshal. And Saul's gonna run off towards jail and see if he can check in on the marshal, see what he can see.
I feel like Olive's about to get herself in trouble. I see the grin on Callie's face.
I go towards the dead guy.
Well,
follows Olive.
The dead guy is going in the same direction. He's heading down the street. So he's going in the direction that Sol is going, which is heading in the direction of the young man who is wandering aimlessly in the middle of the road now. Viola, are you going with them too?
Oh, she is so into this puzzle. She's kind of like, she's paying attention, but she's in her mind she's trying to figure this out. And there's no way she's not following this dead person to figure out why he is walking and up. And it's just that puzzle.
Just why?
It's like what? She's so focused on that. She's not even scared or shocked or anything. It's just really how.
All right. So you all start down the street. You pass the first intersection. The Hunter's General Store is on your right as you go by. As you pass, you can see inside through the front window the woman, Mrs. Hunter, the proprietor, Caroline. She as you go by, you see her, she's got that large book, that's like the ledger book for all the orders and stuff. And as you're passing the store and you look in the window, the glass shatters as she heaves the book out the front window. And it goes out onto the porch and sort of like flips across the porch, rips a little bit, and you see her turn and storm back into the store. Like she's extremely upset or frustrated by something.
God damn it, what the hell's happened in this town this morning? All right, does somebody want to see about that? While Olive goes and pokes a dead guy, and I go to the marshal's office, and maybe somebody tries to catch that crazy fella.
Let's not touch the crazy fella, okay? Because we don't know if what he has is contagious or whatever is going on with him. Please do not touch him. Do not let him spit on you. Please. We don't know if this is transmittable.
Well, that's even more concerning. Thank you, Doctor.
Kiyo's gonna go into the store, kind of.
All right, so you turn to get up, like you kind of step up onto the porch of the general store, and as Kiyo's turning away, Olive, Viola, and Sol, you look back down the street and you see a figure come out from behind the marshal's office, the same direction that Marty came from, the young man. This figure is kind of dragging the foot behind it and moving at a little bit slow clip, but seems to be moving very determinedly toward Marty, who is standing in the middle of the street looking around confused, maybe trying to get his bearings.
We should probably not let him touch Marty. This could spread fast. We don't know what it is. Do we have a way to stop him from touching Marty without touching him? Somebody grab an oar.
I'm going to make...
In Old West Town.
Solomon has a few things that can prevent people from...
Go find a hook or something. Some farming implement. A hoe?
No, you don't want the hose touching them. That might be bad.
Not those kind of hoes, you know? The gardening implement backs.
Yeah, Kiyo is gonna kind of head inside of the store and say, "Is everything all right in here?"
So you duck into the store, and as you say that, Caroline Hunter turns around. She looks at you. She looks like she's been crying. And she says, I don't know. I can't make sense of it.
Make sense of what?
That! And she motions toward the broken window where the book is out on the porch.
All right. Well, Kiyo kind of give her a look and then walk over to walk back out to collect the book.
Yeah, giving her a look, I mean, she just seems significantly distraught and confused.
Yeah, Kiyo's gonna go collect the book and then kind of... She'll look back to the book. Something wrong with it?
I can't make sense of it. It doesn't make any sense. It made sense yesterday, and I don't know what it means today.
I just saw your message on the Twitch. Derek. She'll kind of open it up and take a look.
All right, you flip it open, and it's a ledger. It's got like transaction details.
Should I roll? Because Kiyo actually English is not her first language.
I'll say you can roll. For English, roll with advantage because it's kind of easy to make out what this would be.
Is it the 10s or the 1s that I roll for it?
So you roll the 2 10s and you take the better. Okay. Or the lower. You take the lower one.
All right. Yeah, I pass it.
Okay, yeah. It looks to you like a business ledger. It looks like regular transactions, probably an inventory list, and things of that, like maybe orders and things like that, all kept in one place.
Okay, so it looks normal to me.
It does.
Kiyo kind of look. Is the doctor still out near the door?
Unless they kept moving down the street, did the rest of you keep moving in the direction of Marty and his new friends?
I'm trying to find a farming implement in case I need to push that zombie away. So like a whole.
You can roll me a luck roll to see if you can find something useful.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, all else fails. We're right by a general store.
I was hoping I would find it in the general store, just looking around. But I guess.
Oh, if you actually go in the general store, then I will say that you definitely can come up with. I mean, there's picks, there's a farming equipment. Like if you go in the store, then they have that stuff.
Yeah, I would probably, if I don't see anything at first in the road, I would probably duck into the store and grab the first thing and say, "I'll settle with you later," and dodge back out to make sure that the zombie doesn't touch any actually living person until we know if it's contagious or not.
Yeah, Kiyo just kind of looked at the store and was like, just have a lay down for now. The doctor will be back in a moment, I guess.
She just sits down on the floor in front of the counter and puts her head in her hands. You see her son, Dustin, poke his head out from behind. He's like, "Is my mom okay? What happened?"
Kiyo kind of looked at him and says, I'm not a doc. I'm no doctor. I have no clue. And it's just stay in your room for right now. And Kiyo's gonna walk out the door.
All right. So the rest of you in the street, Dr. Markwood has grabbed a what do you want to say, like a hoe from inside the store, and you're running down the street.
Yeah.
Pitchfork. Yeah, pitchfork.
Well, she would probably pick a hoe because you would actually have to swing it a certain way to hurt somebody, and the way they go, I can just push them away.
All right, so you're running down the street. So as are Sol and Olive both also darting down the street to keep up with the doctor?
Yeah, I think Sol, especially when he sees the other guy coming towards Marty, he's running towards him and shouting, "Hey, Marty, son!" Seeing if he can get his attention.
You do get his attention. He sort of turns in the direction of the shouting, though he kind of has that confused, vacant look on his face, and he kind of like looks very confused at Barney, who's still lumbering kind of down the street in his direction. But Barney just seems to be taking a slow stroll. The other figure that came out from behind the marshal's office, as it starts to close the distance to Marty, you see it starting to sort of lumber and drag that foot more quickly, like it's trying to get to him. And you see his hands kind of come up, like reaching out to like try to grab if it can.
Marty, come here, son, come here, young fella, come here.
Roll a persuasion check to see if you can get Marty to head in your direction. All right, so Marty sees you sort of motioning at him, still confused. He starts sort of walking towards you, and as he does so, let's see. The figure kind of lunges at him, and it grabs a hold of like the back of his shirt and like pulls on Marty's shirt. And Marty screams in surprise and just sort of terror at being grabbed by something, and tries to pull away and sort of run up the street in your direction as he seems terrified. And he does. He yanks free. There's sort of a ripping sound as part of his shirt gets ripped by this fellow who grabbed a hold of him. And then Marty is shrieking at the top of his lungs and bolting up the middle of the street, running past Barney, who's in the middle of the street. Barney slows and lumbers to like watch Marty run by, and then continues on his way. The other figure starts lumbering up the street after Marty in your direction, and he's a kind of a large fellow, definitely covered in dirt, and he looks a little worse off than your friend Barney looked. Like maybe he's been dead and buried a bit longer.
I'm assuming Kiyo now sees the figure.
Yes,
Is-
you
you
come
see it
when you
first.
come back out. You're a few paces back up the road, but you see Marty. You hear Marty scream. You see him running, and you see this larger figure sort of dragging a bum leg, lumbering after Marty up the road.
Kiyo just kind of, I'm assuming she can probably catch up to the rest of her by just quickening her pace a little.
Yeah, you could quick jog down the road to catch them.
What the hell is going on with this town? And she is now very firmly, like, her body is very tensed, is the best word to describe it, as she holds on to her parasol and just kind of looks. And I guess we're heading to the sheriff's.
Well,
Yeah,
this
that's where I'm trying to herd Marty
Yeah.
to.
well now Marty is kind of in between the marshal's office and you all, and this figure is coming up the street behind him, lumbering after him. So this figure is between you and the marshal's office.
Does the figure look particularly threatening?
It did just try to grab a hold of Marty, and it is lumbering after him, and
All right.
it's got a very intense look on its sagging and pallid face.
All right. Kiyo is going to start walking towards it. And just kind of looking. Because he's the, what's his name? Marty? That's his name?
Marty is the young man that he's running. He actually closes the distance, and I would say he sort of runs like into Sol, screaming like in terror. So he runs right for you and kind of runs right into you. Arms and legs flailing, making no sense whatsoever.
Kiyo's just going to call out, hands up, don't move, to them. To the figure.
It continues to lumber, and when you call out to it, its attention turns in your direction, and it sort of shifts its movement, kind of heading more straight for you when you say that.
Is Duncan with us?
You look around, and Duncan is standing back on the Sweetwater Saloon porch. He's got his hat in his hands over his chest, and he's sort of just watching like,
I love Duncan.
And I'm just gonna call out, hey Duncan, you know this fella? Who is he?
"That's Roger Dunsweather!
How long has he been dead?
3.5 weeks!"
Okay. That is some shoddy work.
Doctor, as you say that to Duncan, you see Roop come out of his door. He must have stumbled back in as you all ran down the street. And he is carrying a rifle. And he's like, "I buried you and you're supposed to stay dead!" And he points his rifle down the street at this Roger Dunsweather fellow. And he fires his rifle at him. So, let's see.
I hope he doesn't he doesn't hit me.
Alright, so he fires at Roger, and he hits Roger full in the chest. The bullet just hits him. And Roger sort of goes off his feet and hits the ground on his back. And Roop yells, "That's right! You're supposed to be dead!" And then Roger sort of rolls over and pushes himself up and starts to get back up to his feet.
All right. Yep. Kiyo,
All right, that's not working. We might have to burn this down to contain whatever is going on. This might be some hoodoo going on. This might be some kind of sickness. I don't even care. But do not let any of these bodies touch anybody alive. And if we need to, we're gonna burn them.
Kiyo is walking towards the now body that's on the ground, or was crawling out back to the ground. And you know what? It's about time. It's about time she reveals this because it's a fun little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I can imagine like Olive like they're
Yeah, you picture all just rapidly writing down stuff
doing a little sketch.
as she kind of turns her parasol down and the top part of it falls off, revealing a sword. And I guess, should I roll initiative or something?
So I need you all to tell me what your dexterity scores are, because that will determine your initiatives.
I have really bad.
Right, 45.
25.
Nice.
All right, hold on. Do we need to roll for this, or just dex?
Nope. It's your dex score is your initiative. So I got 45 for Dr. Viola. I got 25 for Kiyo. What was Solomon's?
55.
55 for Sol. And what a
70.
7. Oh man, Olive, you are the fastest.
High is good, Callie, in this case.
The reason she could run ahead of us with no shoes on.
It's true.
You know,
I thought it was just
make it somewhere.
Drunk into the night.
Yeah.
I figured it was just pure anger and alcohol.
I mean, that's
And the
likely.
concussion.
Okay, so Olive, you see Kiyo just stroll up the street, and all of a sudden, a sword is being drawn from seemingly out of nowhere. This figure is starting to get up. What do you want to do?
Yeah, don't touch him or the doctor's gonna burn you. I pull out I think I have a revolver. And I run up behind Kiyo, and I'm ready to shoot. I don't know what a revolver is.
So
I'm ready to shoot.
So you
I
don't
shoot, but
all
I'm
right.
ready to
So you
shoot.
just run up behind Kiyo and have your gun at the ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sol, you see Kiyo strolling forward. Olive dashes up behind her, pulling out a handgun from somewhere, pointing it in the direction of this fellow. What are you doing?
So he still has Marty kind of in his
Yes.
way. So yeah, he's gonna yell back to Duncan. Duncan, make yourself useful and hold on to this crazy fella. I gotta shoot some dead guys, and he'll kind of push Marty behind him, since that's at least what the Roger was heading towards anyway. And yeah, Saul's gonna take his Centennial Winchester off of his shoulder and aim and fire.
All right.
Alright.
You shoot and you hit him. The bullet hits again, sort of, kind of center mass, like you're going for a kill shot to take him down. And he again, like, kind of flicks back from it. He doesn't completely fall over this time. He rights himself and he keeps lumbering forward, as if the bullets don't seem to be hurting him as much as they might a living person.
Well, shit. Although I will now claim that the Winchester was a direct reference to Shaun of the Dead. It's paying off now.
Perfect weapon to have, right?
Yeah, worked for them. All right. So this is my first kind of combat in Call of Cthulhu. Is that essentially what it is?
So essentially, yeah, you can shoot, and then you can say, if you want to sort of maybe reposition yourself, it's kind of theater of the mind to, if you want to try to get on a porch or something, or like split up to spread yourselves out. You've got, so much kind of movement to maneuver around the street. Which,
yeah, I think that he's going to keep moving kind of backwards with Marty towards Duncan and the Sweetwater.
Duncan is sort of running up the street now, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, alright, oh my god. They're shooting at dead people in the middle of the road. And doors are kind of opening, or windows are opening now that all this noise is going on. And Duncan's like yelling, they're shooting dead people! People are already dead, getting shot in the middle of the street, man! Oh my god, oh my god. And he kind of runs up and he tries to grab onto Marty. And the two of them
falling down, trying to hold onto his hand.
Actually, you look around. He lost the hat again at some point in the little bit of the run,
Boy!
And he's trying to grab. He kind of grabs onto Marty, and Marty's freaking out. And so, like, the two of them get into this like tussle in the road behind Solomon. So, as that is going on, Roop, you hear him and point his gun. He's like, "I said, go back! I'll bury betrayed you! And he's gonna attempt to shoot at this thing again. Because it's not supposed to be alive. Yeah, so this time he fires and he completely misses. And he yells, "God damn! Ah!" And he's sort of running forward with his gun out. He looks just completely white in the face and horribly upset by this turn of events. So, Dr. Viola, what would you like to do?
Right. What's the closest townie next to me? I mean, which is the person that I can see not engaged in the fight that's the closest to me?
So you can see coming up the road from his office at a run is Dr. Fletcher. Just he's full sprinting up the road at the sound of gunfire.
Yeah. And so I want to point at him and yell, "Doctor, we need fire and tar. We need to burn this before it spreads." And then she's gonna pull out, she got her Winchester, her 76 rifle, and she's like, "Okay, we gotta try and cripple him so he can't run anymore." And she's gonna try and shoot him in the knee.
Okay. All right, so you attempt to shoot him in the knee, and you see the bullet sort of hit the leg he's dragging, but it seems to not even affect his movement. He keeps coming. And with all the gunfire and things like that, you notice Barney was trying to continue to walk by, but it seems to be agitating him, and he starts turning around back into the center of the street, sort of looking at everything going on, like maybe he's not sure he should walk away now. But then it is Kiyo's turn.
Well, Kiyo's gonna close distance and use her sword. And I have a question: I know a system similar to this. Is there called shots and such in this
So
game?
if you would like to make a called shot, you will have a disadvantage die. So you will roll 2 10s and take the higher.
All right.
And where are you trying to hit this fellow?
Neck. I'm trying for decapitation. I'm
All
stealing
right.
Callie's shtick.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's still a hit. Hit with a degree of an extra degree of success.
Ooh.
I got a 40 and a 50.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. He does not. He does not try to dodge or anything. He doesn't seem like he's intent on that. So roll damage for that.
Let's grab the dice. So that'll be a D8. Where is the D8? D8 and D6. Ooh. Do you add your build bonus to that, or no?
Yes, you do, because it's a physical attack.
16 points of damage.
Whoa! So Kiyo strolls up with her sword. How do you do this as you slice through its head?
I just picture just one quick, think traditional, and then just head, body stays there, and then just.
So the head of Roger Dunsweather flies off the top of his body, and it goes sailing across, and it hits some of those wind chimes that are hanging from the marshal's office, and so there's this cacophony of like beautiful chimes that go off as it hits them, and then there's a sort of soft thwap as it hits the door of the marshal's office, and then lands on the ground in front of the door, looking out into the street, where its body sort of takes one more lumbering step and then sort of slumps forward, and if Kiyo moves out of the way, it just falls into the street.
Yes. She very much keeps out of the way from the body.
And the body just lands and just sort of twitches once and stops moving.
All right. And with that, kind of Kiyo does the quick kind of just sword down, try to clean the sword best she can with just the I can't even remember what it's called now because I used to know it, but now I can't remember.
So as you do that, you sever the head and you go to clean the sword. Barney, sort of seeing this, his attention focuses on Kiyo, and his hands come up, and he like just sort of lunges towards you, Kiyo, from where he was standing, and he kind of runs at you now, and he is going to take a swipe at you. Do you? You don't even need to dodge. So he swipes, and he misses completely. He trips over the body of Roger Dunsweather and stumbles across, so he misses you. So, Olive, you see this. You see Kiyo decapitate one of these two Walking Dead individuals, and then the other one suddenly lunges at her.
I shoot it. I try to shoot it.
Okay.
But I try to shoot it in the head.
All right.
So, what do I have to get under? I don't have a combat.
So your handgun, if your handgun skill, you have to roll below whatever that is.
Okay. 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 No.
All right, so you fire at him. When he stumbles across the body, your bullet misses him. At the same time as that happens, the door to the marshal's office opens, and the marshal steps out. He looks like he's wearing like his house coat, and he looks like maybe he's just roused out of bed. And he looks around. He's like, "What is going?" And he sees the head, and he's like, "Oh!" Steps back inside and slams the door shut.
The hell, Ted?
Awesome public servant. Very helpful.
I mean, that's about what
5
you
stars.
expect. That's what I come to expect from public servants at this point, so...
Sol, what do you do?
Shit. All right. So Roger's been beheaded, right?
Oh, yes. And he is no longer moving.
Okay. So Barney's the only one left. What's Barney doing?
Barney has turned on Kiyo and looks like he's going after Kiyo.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. I guess then, yeah, he's gonna aim his rifle and try to shoot Barney in the head.
All right.
So how does since that's a called shot, it's disadvantage, right? So how do I do that?
Purple die.
Purple
Do it
die.
with Purple die.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So
All right. So you shoot him in the head, and the eye that was kind of hanging out of the socket, the bullet sort of goes through that eye, and there's like a and his head sort of like lolls back for a second. But he stays on his feet, and it doesn't seem like the bullet bothers him all that much, even though it's right through the top of his head.
shit. All right. What's closer at this point, the saloon or the general store?
So at this point, you are closer to you're closer to the general store. It's sort of kitty corner to the marshal's office.
All right. I think he's going to run towards the general store then.
Okay. So you would have enough distance to sort of run back up the street a little bit and get up onto the porch of the general store. As you do, you see Dustin, the store owner's young son, and also the young Mark Probish, the two 14-year-old kids, are looking through that broken window. And you see Mark's got his gun, and as you get up there, you hear him saying, "I bet you I could shoot it."
How about you don't?
Oh, hell, not you again, sir!
It was a very confusing sentence, but I appreciate the respect on the back end, I suppose. I don't know how much is left of my turn, but he'll point at Dustin and go, Dustin, liquor or dynamite, whichever one's quickest.
He thinks for a moment, and then he disappears back into the store. And as he's doing that, Roop is just walking just steadily toward this Barney with his gun, and he just shoots him again. And the bullet goes wide, kind of goes through the shoulder, like the shirt in the shoulder, but doesn't actually hit Barney, as Barney is continuing to sort of loom over Kiyo in this moment. Dr. Viola, what do you want to do?
Right, so what exactly do I see and how far are things away from me? Just so I can get my theater of the mind.
So you see Kiyo and Barney standing over the corpse of Roger Dunsweather in the middle of the street. I'd say you're probably maybe 15 or so feet back from them. Just a little ways, maybe halfway between the marshal's office and the general store at this point.
And what about Barney?
Barney he just like grabbed at Kiyo, and he's just got shot in the face, and he seems like he's coming back in to try to, like, he's reaching over and he's kind of opening his mouth now, like leaning in toward her, like maybe he's trying to take a bite out of her.
All right. Do I have a safe shot?
You think as long as you don't completely mess up, so I'll say as long as you don't fumble it, you think you'd be fine, but I mean, there is always a chance that you could hit Kiyo in the middle of that.
And how far away am I? Because I can probably not get there and swing the hoe at him, right?
You're within 15 feet. You could just charge up and hit him with that hoe.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna have that hoe, and I'm gonna just swipe with the sharp corner, and and try and hit it right in the neck.
All right, so you're going to hit it at the neck. So that would be a fighting brawl roll with one disadvantage die because you're trying to hit the neck.
So is that?
So you could just try to hit it in general, and you just have a straight roll, but it's going to be a brawl roll.
Yeah, it's mostly I'm trying to hit it and with the force push it away from Kiyo. So it's probably not as important that I hit the neck, but that I hit it in a way that it pushes him away from Kiyo. So just unarmed, right? We said
yes, unarmed.
Oh, for Pete's sake!
All right, so you run at him and swing, and it hits off of him. But he's more like sturdy than you expected, and he doesn't get pushed back, and his eyes sort of go, like, at least the one eye that's left sort of tilts in your direction. So Kiyo, as the doctor runs up and tries to slam Barney with this hoe, what do you want to do?
First, Kiyo's gonna just call back to Olive and say, "Grab my shotgun." She has it kind of slung on her shoulder, kind of lets it go. And then, yeah, she'll go for it. Since first time seemed to, she's going to go for another beheading.
Okay.
Ooh, that's still a success. So, just 71 over 80. So I got it.
You're good with that sword. All right, so roll.
I did invest quite a bit of points into it. So.
Roll damage for your sword attack.
Ooh, that's almost max damage. 16.
So once again you come around and Kiyo, you decapitate Barney. His head sort of goes flying backward down the street, rolling, and his body slumps on top of Roger's and stops moving.
Kiyo just kind of waits for a moment, kind of looks at the bodies, makes sure they're dead. Again, they're re-dead.
They don't seem to be moving. The doctor, what was his name again? Dr. Henry Fletcher. He looks over at Viola and he says, "What? Oh, we need to investigate and see what made this happen. Why are they rising from the grave?"
So he never went and got the fire and the tar like I asked him.
No, he kind of stood there with this perplexed look on his face.
Yeah, and so she's just gonna round on him and said, "I asked you to get us something to burn these bodies before other people could be infected. You don't want to touch this. You don't want to breathe it in. You don't know what this is. Would you like to be a zombie? Because that's how you get to be a zombie."
You've experienced this before then, Doctor.
"No, sir, but that is common sense. We do not know what this is. We do not know if this is a sickness. We do not know if this is hoodoo. Is it something he touched? Is it something he ate? You do not want to touch that?"
We need to investigate. It's for science. And as they're having this kind of back and forth, Sol, you're on the porch, and Dustin comes running out through the front door. He has this big glass bottle. There is some kind of clear liquid in it. He seems to have shoved a rag into it, and he holds it up and he goes, "I think this will explode, mister."
Good kid there. Good kid.
Thought I like the way you think. Yeah, I will go ahead and take that. Is this shine?
As soon as you take it, you get the whiff of a very strong, heavy-duty moonshine.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm from Kentucky, son. I know a good shine.
He just smiles up at you. He's like, I've made little ones, and they've, but I didn't want Mama to know I took any of it. So, but that one will really go boom.
All right. Well, you hold on to those little ones. I'll probably back for those later. But yeah, this will do for now.
Hey, mister, can I help you light it and throw it?
As of right now, I'm not sure if there's any other undead individuals about, so I don't want to put you in any danger, son. But hey, if any of them come knocking on your door, just chuck away. Just make sure you don't burn the place down while you're doing it.
All right, don't burn the building down. Gotcha.
That's priority one.
Okay, thanks, mister. Don't tell my mom I gave you a moonshine.
All right, you don't tell her either.
Okay.
Good kid.
He runs back inside, and Mark's like, "He's gonna let you throw fire, but he wouldn't even let me shoot at him because he was taking my uncle." And Dustin's like, "You were gonna shoot at him?" And he's like, I was gonna try to wound him, not really hurt him."
Wound him but not hurt him. Yeah, Kiyo's gonna kind of look to the doctor and then walk back to collect the top half of her parasol. I assume Olive went to grab Kiyo's shotgun that she left for her.
Yes.
Has a bit more of a kick than what you're using.
So Dr. Fletcher looks at you, Dr. Markwood, and says, "We should get them to my office, and I'll make sure that they're kept away from other people, and then I can try to see what it is that brought them back." And Roop's like, "I buried them right, just like everybody else I buried. They're not supposed to be back, Doctor." And Dr. Fletcher's like, "Yes, Roop, when I examined them, they were dead, but they most definitely were walking about, and dead people shouldn't be doing that." And Roop's like, "But I buried them. They should have just stayed buried. I don't understand."
And Callie, I just sent you the thing for the shotgun.
Okay.
Just for a quick reference, if we need to use it at some point during this episode, you have a shotgun for now.
Okay.
You there?
They're currently loaded with slugs, so.
You there? And he points up the doctor points up the street at Sol. "Can you help me? I want to take these two, collect the heads there, and bring them to my office and investigate this situation."
"Please cover your hands. Put on some gloves."
Hey, Duncan, the doctor needs some help.
Duncan is sitting, in the street. He's sitting on top of Marty. At some point, he knocked him down, and he's sitting on Marty, who's lying on his stomach, his arms and feet splayed out, and Marty's sort of crying and moaning a little bit underneath, and Duncan's just sitting at him, and Duncan goes, "I can't find my hat. I have no idea where my hat went. You seen it? Because I haven't seen it."
I would assume it is probably back at the Stillwater. But in the meantime, while you have lost your hat, these gentlemen have lost their heads, and you can help the doctor with that. And get off that poor young fella, and I'm going to kind of reach under and help Marty get up. I'm gonna take Marty back to the marshal and see where the hell he's been this whole time. But yeah, if you could help the doctor, I'd mighty appreciate it.
All right. I gotta go pick up a head.
Just a couple of them.
I'm gonna go get a bag. I'll be back. He
Get
goes,
some gloves and please cover your face. Do not breathe in the yucks.
Oh, he's not that ugly, doctor. He doesn't have to cover his face.
No, I do not want him to breathe in any sickness. Don't you remember the wars, Mr. Solomon?
Of course, the fumes of the dead. Indeed. I try her. And yeah, I think Saul's gonna try to take Marty back to Marshal Whitman.
all right. And it looks like, Saul, you've got an advantage from a redemption of channel points. So you get an advantage die. Which, don't forget, all of you still have a nat 20, and Viola, you have an advantage.
To whoever gave that to me when I wasn't present.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, all right, so Duncan goes off to get gloves, and he's repeating it to himself. Gloves in a bag, gloves in a bag, gloves in a bag. And he goes into the general store, and when he gets up, Marty kind of tries to get on his feet, and he sort of like starts kind of like fighting you a little bit, Saul, like
All right, son.
roll a persuasion check to kind of calm him down, because he seems really agitated by everything. Excellent. How do you calm Marty down?
Start brushing him on the nose. No. Shh.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
No, it's all right, son. I'm just kind of like hold him by the shoulders and let him get his little slaps out. But I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. You doing all right? It's okay. Deep breath. Deep breath. In and out. There you go.
He's looking around with that blank, terrified stare, but he calms down and he kind of puts his hand like kind of on like your wrist, like just sort of taps at it, like, you know, okay, you're real. That's a real person, even if he doesn't entirely understand what that means.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm real. I'm alive too. That's other bonus points for that, it seems. But yeah, let's get you back somewhere a little bit safer. All right.
He just walks wherever you'll lead him at this point, looking around furtively up and down the street. People are still sort of looking from like their doorways, but they seem kind of scared to come out. A couple people looking from windows, sort of watching.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get him up to the marshal's door and he'll knock. I think it's passive aggressive, but yeah, he'll knock.
All right. What's everybody else doing while Solomon takes Marty to the marshal's office? You're going to go with him? What do you want to do?
I am trying to make sure that nobody comes out and touches the remains.
Okay, so you're going to stand over the remains until Duncan returns and helps get them out of the street.
Well, with, my face covered and with that hose still in my hand. Like, everybody stay back. This might be contaminated.
All right. And what about Kiyo and Olive? What are the two of you doing?
I think I'm going to follow Saul.
Okay.
Kiyo, once she's resheathed her sword, is going to stay with Viola just so that she has some backup just in case.
Okay. So, Saul, you bang on the door, and you hear, "Who is it?"
Well, it ain't a dead person, so there's that at least.
The door opens about just enough for you to see the marshal's sort of eye peek out. "What do you want?"
And I kind of like push Marty in front of me. I want to return this, for one. 2, I want to ask you how we got out. And 3, I want to ask you where the hell you been.
Well, when the other one asked for the keys, he let him out too. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know who either one of them is.
I'm sorry. Other one, what? Asked for keys? What?
Well, there was two of them sitting in here and making a ruckus this morning. I was trying to sleep, and the other one said, well, if I gave him the keys, he'd take him out and get him out of here so I could sleep. So I gave him the keys and went back to bed.
All right, let's work with some nouns here. So, who was it? There were two of what in here?
He opens the door, and he points to the jail cells that both the doors are open, and both the jail cells are empty. And he says the two of them were they were in there making a bunch of ruckus this morning, and I told him just get the hell out. I needed to sleep. I was tired.
Are you insane?
I'm sorry. What?
Where's Hank Hanready?
I don't know who that is.
Damn it.
I mean, do you know who you are?
My name's Ted.
Do you know who I am?
No. Hi, I'm Ted. Puts his hand out to shake her hand.
Yeah, I don't. Ted, do you know who this young man is?
He was one of the ones making the ruckus this morning.
All right. Ted, do you know what it is you do in this town? What your job is?
As a matter of fact, I'm not entirely sure.
Perfect. And I'm going to usher Ted over to one of the cells. Ted, I'm gonna put you in here just for a minute or two. And there's a nice bed. You got yourself a chamber pot, little window on the far wall. Plenty of space for you to roam around. But I just need to know where you are right now.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I was having a cup of coffee and I made some eggs this morning. I was going to sit down and have something to eat. And then there was all this commotion outside the front door.
All right, then. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can put Ted in one of the cells and Marty in one of the others.
So are you going to try to persuade him, or are you going to try to do this in a more like physical, get your ass in that cell nature?
He seems pretty confused. I feel like if I just, put my hand on the like in between his shoulders and just kind of like, all right, here, in you go. I feel like he'd be wouldn't fight me too much, but I guess that's up to you.
I'll let you decide. Do you want to do like a sort of a brawl roll to kind of get him in there, or do you want to do a psychology to convince him, or
I'd like to persuade him if I could. I don't want to. I mean, he seems out of it, so I don't necessarily want to hurt him.
Okay.
But let's see if I can persuade him.
All right. So, how do you convince Ted that this cell is the best spot for him? Because you are very convincing.
Ted, I'm a little concerned because you and I have met before. You seem just a little bit confused, and I just don't want you hurt yourself none. So we're going to put you in here where there's you're not going to trip or hurt yourself or get in any trouble, and I'm going to have the doctor come along a little bit. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Does that work for you, Ted?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, can I still, is it all right if I bring my... And he points, and he's got a plate on the desk with his eggs and bacon and his cup of coffee. Can I take that with me?
You certainly can, Ted. Is it eggs and bacon? Because there's a part of me that's worried that it's not.
Make a spot check just to double check that he's eating eggs and bacon.
All right.
Yep, indeed. You look over and give it a quick kind of look-see as he picks up the plate. Okay, yep, that's eggs and bacon. And you sort of like give a whiff on the air, and it's like, okay, that's coffee. All right.
Okay.
Other than the confusion, he seems somewhat okay.
All right, then I'll give him his eggs and coffee and kind of put him in one of the cells. How many cells are there?
So there's two cells in there. So one had Hanready in it, and the other one had Marty in it. And now one of them has Ted in it, and the other one now once again has Marty in it.
Yeah, I'll put him in the one that Hank was in. There's some poetic justice there. Yeah, and I think once they're both in their cells, I'll grab the keys to them and I'll turn to Olive and go, "What the hell do you think is going on here?"
How could he forget us? We saw him yesterday.
Well, and not to mention that the lady at the general store threw a book through a window, and there's dead people in the streets. I mean, this is
a great story. I'm so excited.
all right. Silver linings, sure. All right. Well, I guess what we need to see what the doctors have to say about the dead fellers. We need to bring the doctors back here, check on the sheriff or marshal, rather, and then we need to figure out if anybody else has lost it in the town.
So while Sol and Olive are in the marshal's office, Kiyo and Viola, you are standing guard over the 2 bodies and the 2 decapitated heads. The doctor is sort of waiting as Duncan, you can see him coming back from the general store. And then you hear footsteps, hurried footsteps sort of coming up the road from behind you, coming from the direction of the schoolhouse and the church and the road that sort of leads out of town. And when you look behind you, you see a man. He's an older man. He looks like he's probably in his 50s. He's clean shaven. He's wearing a black pants, black shirt. He's got this sort of white scarf kind of tied around his neck and knotted, and it's very neat. He's got a large black top hat on his head, and he's carrying a hefty looking book under one arm as he kind of struts his way up the main street. A very stern, serious look on his face. And he sees the 2 of you. He sees the doctor. He nods at the doctor, and then he looks down at the 2 bodies on the ground and says, "What's this we have here?"
Well, Mr. Preacher?
It's Reverend Augustus Boone, ma'am.
Well, sir, if you would have led with that, I wouldn't have to call you preacher. Now, we had 2 of your corpses come out of your graveyard and attack people in the middle of the road.
The dead have risen from their graves?
Well, sir, you might want to go ahead and check your graveyard and run some blessings on there before some more of them come over here.
Indeed. It seems Judgment Day is upon us. He turns around and he starts walking in the direction he came, and as he does, he still has the hefty book, which you noticed was a large Bible, under the arm, but he reaches inside his jacket and he pulls out a revolver as he marches down the street back in the direction of the church.
Kiyo looks to the should I follow him?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I don't know what he needs the gun for, to lay a blessing on his graveyard.
Kiyo kind of looks at me. Your religion is very strange. This is probably the best version I've seen of it so far. And she follows the reverend.
So are the other 2 still in, or are they coming out the door?
So they come out the door as the reverend is strutting away now, and Kiyo has just started following him, and Duncan gets back, and he's carrying he's got what looks like 2 heavier material blankets, a couple of bags, and he's got some work gloves. He's got like 3 sets of work gloves. And he's like, I tried to pay her, and she just cried at me, and like tears, and like, I left money on the counter and walked away. I don't know what is going on with her, but she was just...
Hold on, Mr. Duncan. One second. Mr. Solomon, the reverend just went to lay a blessing on the graveyard with a revolver in his hand. If you could follow him and Miss Kiyo and make sure he's not going to do anything crazy.
Well, shit, the marshal forgot who we were and let out both the prisoners, so God only knows where Hank is now. That's how the young feller got out, so, yeah, trade you.
Complete and utter craziness. However, please make sure Miss Kiyo is okay. Duncan, please use these gloves, cover your face, and put those heads in the bags, and don't let anybody touch it.
Yeah, I put the marshal in the cell. If you want to check in on him and see if you can determine what malady has afflicted him, I'll go back up Kiyo.
That sounds amazing. Miss Olive, make yourself useful, and she kind of struts away. Duncan, get to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to pick up the head?
Duncan holds out a pair of gloves to you. You're supposed to cover your face and put these on, or she might kill me. Here, take these.
He's not wrong. She actually might.
Here, you take those, and you get the heads because they're smaller, and I'll wrap these up and just sort of, I guess, carry them one at a time. All right.
Poor Duncan. Poor Duncan.
Olive, have you seen my hat?
Have I seen his hat?
Make a spot check.
Okay.
How much money is on his head?
I have not seen his hat.
Well, neither have I. I haven't seen my hat either. I don't know where it went. All right. He lays out the 2 blankets. He puts on the gloves. He stops and pulls up his bandana and ties it tight around his face. All right, now she can't yell at me. All right, here we go. And he starts rolling the bodies onto the blankets and rolling them up.
Up ahead. Is it looking at me?
It's I mean, if you point it in your direction, it's looking at you, but it doesn't move or anything of its own volition. It's just sort of.
Turn it around so I don't see.
He's like, put it in a bag, and it won't look at you, Olive. Put it in a bag. Just carry the bag.
Okay, put it in the bag.
Okay. He puts it. He picks up one of the bodies. I'm gonna see if how he does picking up this body. Let's see, Duncan. Here he goes. Oh yeah, he just heaves that body up. all those years working his claim. He's a strong fellow. So he picks that sucker up. The doctor's like, "All right, bring that to my office." Oh, well. Hell. He goes over and he puts on a pair of gloves and he picks up the other one, realizing he doesn't want to leave it unguarded in the middle of the street. All right, let's go. And Olive, you follow the doctor and Duncan down the street heading toward his office.
Okay.
At least you have a shotgun to protect you now.
You do. So, Dr. Viola, do you go into the marshal's office to see what Sol has left behind?
Yes.
All right. When you walk into the marshal's office, you see in the cell on the left, Marty is sitting back on his bed. He's got his knees up to his chest, and he's humming to himself. In the cell to the right, you see Marshal Whitman sitting on the edge of the bunk. He's got a plate of eggs and bacon and a coffee cup on the stool in front of him, and he's just eating the eggs and bacon happily. He looks up, he's like, "Good morning, ma'am." Keeps eating.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
I'm Ted Whitman.
And, sir, do you know my name?
Don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting you.
Very well, Mr. Whitman. Would you be able to tell me what you remember of yesterday?
Well, I went for a horse ride, and I got this girl that I fancy that I stopped in to visit, brought her some flowers, and I had something to eat at the Sweetwater, and then I made some deliveries for the general store in the evening.
And so is that your job?
I mean, I to make a little bit extra money here and there, I'll pick up extra work. I'm working on figuring out what it is I want to do with myself.
Mr. Whitman, sir, how old are you?
22.
Right, does that jam with his body?
No, he's like probably in his 50s.
And, sir, how did you come to be in the marshal's office this morning?
Well, I mean, I was sleeping in the back in the bed, and I woke up and there was a couple fellas out here, this guy over here and another guy making a ruckus, and the other guy, the one tall fellow, he said that if I gave him the keys, he'd take this other one out, kind of get him some fresh air and maybe calm him down so I could get some sleep. So I gave him the keys and headed back to bed. I didn't really think about the fact this the marshal's office? Shit.
Yeah, Mr. Whitman, I am quite sure that this is not your home.
Oh.
I am not really sure why you went to sleep in the marshal's office.
Maybe I had a little bit too much to drink last night.
Sir, since we did have this altercation in the middle of the road, I think Mr. Solomon is right. We're just gonna keep you where you are right now. We'll keep you safe. Nobody can come in there and bother you. And if you would be so kind to keep an eye on Mr. Marty over here and make sure that he is also safe. Could you do that for me, sir?
That's Marty right there?
That is Marty, yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely, I mean, he's not going anywhere right now, so, I mean, sure. And I don't seem to be going anywhere. Is that why that is, oh, man, that other fellow that put me in the cell, that's the marshal, isn't it? He caught me, and he was trying to be all kind of smooth about it, wasn't he?
Well, sir, don't you worry about that right now. Just remember you're safe. Sleep off that hangover, and we will return and, talk to you again, sir. With that, she kind of turns around, and she walks out the door with that face that says, what in the ever-loving fuck is wrong with this person? And she's kind of digging in her head, with her psychology stuff, if there's anything she knows with people forgetting, half their life, see if that has to do with trauma.
Yeah, roll me a psychology check. Yeah, so, I mean, in your experience, head trauma definitely has been a thing. Also, like very emotional events, sometimes people will have loss of memory that they recover over time. Also, it could be environmental. Somebody maybe drank or ate something that had some kind of effect. And there's also just, medical conditions that people get at times that can affect their mind and their memory.
All right, so I'm heading out the door to check on the rest of our party members.
Okay. So, meanwhile, Kiyo, you're following this reverend who is walking with a very determined strut back down the street, heading in the direction of the church. You notice a few yards behind you, Solomon seems to have kind of taken to shadowing you down the street. You watch as the Reverend Boone walks past the front doors of the church and continues around the corner and goes to where the gates to the cemetery are open. And he goes strolling into the churchyard, into the cemetery, and he takes the Bible that he had under his arm and he kind of puts it up across his chest, and he's got his revolver out, and he starts walking about in the cemetery, eyes looking left and right, occasionally points the gun at something. And as you kind of come around the building and get a better look, he's sort of stopped and is inspecting an opened grave that looks like something has dug its way out of. And Sol, you catch up to Kiyo as she sort of is stopped at the fence to the churchyard.
So, what's the Reverend doing?
I assume he's checking the graves.
With a gun? All right.
I mean, hey, if the dead are walking again, that's the best thing you can do sometimes.
There's not enough preachers who are actually prepared for the end of days that they keep talking about.
He just kind of shrugs.
Reverend, you,
He spins around and points the revolver in your direction.
Hey, easy now.
Who are you, son?
Yeah, I'm Solomon Henson, and this is my friend here, Kiyo, and we're just see if we can lend a hand or firearm.
Oh, if you're armed, then you're ready for Judgment Day. The dead are rising. The end is nigh. Now we must be prepared.
All right then. Prepared for. I'm sorry, sir. I'm a little rusty on my revelations.
Well, the world is coming to an end, and these creatures are rising up, and until we are taken up by our God, we must hold back the tirade of these undead monsters.
All right then. Are there any undead? We took care of a couple. Do you happen to see any others?
I see 2 open graves here in my cemetery, and I'm thinking perhaps maybe we should start digging up the rest and putting them down, one after the other. I can get my congregation to come and help.
Well, I mean, disinterring an entire graveyard.
No, you're right, and we can just set up and wait, and when they rise, we'll take them out one by one.
All right. Well, if you have the time and your congregation has the guns, that's fine. We did happen to notice that bullets aren't particularly effective, and beheading is the best way to do it. So if y'all have some sharper instruments, or hell, maybe even setting them on fire. We didn't try that.
Haha, fire and brimstone, yes. Haha. It's coming. It will be coming to that in the end, my son.
Okay, so you're half listening. All right.
Kiyo kind of is just looking at Solomon like, this man is crazy.
Yeah, but I think that he already was this level of crazy before. I'm trying to figure out the people who have increased or decreased in their mental stability, and this fellow seems right on par with where he was before.
Kiyo, roll me a listen check, Kiyo.
All right. That's a 15. I
Ooh.
think that's enough. Yes, it is.
All right. As Solomon is saying that to you, you hear the crunch of a footstep, maybe about 10 feet behind you.
Yeah, Kiyo whirls about and has her parasol, her swords now sheathed, pointing at whoever.
Sorry. My apologies. And there's this small young man. I mean, he's maybe in his mid-20s. He's got...
How small is the question?
I mean, well, yeah, compared to Kiyo...
I was going to say, compared to Kiyo...
He's maybe about 4 or 5 inches taller than you.
Alright.
So he's a smaller guy, and he, very, like, bookish and, like, glasses. His hair's a bit tousled, and he's got kind of a confused look. He's like, I'm really, really sorry, really, really sorry. Do you know who I am?
No?
Looks at Sol.
Do you know who you are?
No, it's all kind of a blank. I woke up over there in the back room of that little, I think it's a school. It's got little desks and chairs, small ones. And I don't know. It's not familiar. I thought maybe if I came outside it would be, and then I heard that guy yelling, and I'm so confused.
That makes multiple of us, but...
Alright. What do you remember last, young fella?
It's kind of just a blank. I don't know. I just waking up this morning.
Alright then. Well, why don't you head back to where you woke up, and see if you can find something to help yourself remember. Maybe a journal. Maybe make yourself a cup of coffee. Are you confident you could do that?
I think I could do that. So back over there, then. I sure I should go over there. Maybe I'm supposed to be somewhere else, and that's why I don't remember that.
You know what? I'm less sure now. Why don't you come along with us, and we'll see if maybe the doctors perhaps figured something out.
There's a doctor?
Apparently, there's a couple of them, unless one of them's forgotten.
Okay. Maybe I should talk to a doctor.
Might be for the best.
Okay. What's he doing over there?
Oh, nothing.
He's got a gun.
Yeah. He's keeping an eye on things. Don't worry.
He's got a gun. He's walking around. Did he dig up that grave? Is he a grave robber?
No. Oh, no.
He's the past. He's the Reverend.
Yeah, it's all fine. We all have guns. It's all right.
I don't have a gun.
That's for the best, I think.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll keep you safe if something happens.
All right, then I'll stay with you until we find out where I'm supposed to go and who I am.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
She'll look to Solomon. Bring him back. Let's get him back to Stillwater. Probably the best place.
Yeah, I've already used up the 2 cells. Yeah, let's see if we can figure out if anybody else in this town is.
Kiyo, look, Kiyo, we know the store owner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, Caroline. Miss Caroline Hunter. That's right.
Yeah, we might. She kind of just says, "The doctors are going to be busy today."
Well, it's a shame that only one of them seems half competent too. That's the one that we brought with us.
I figured as much.
All right then.
And she'll call over to the Reverend and say, if you need anything, please call, or please you can find us at the it's the Stillwater, right, Jeanette?
Oh, the Sweetwater?
Sweetwater, that's the one.
Is this Sweetwater? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it's still or sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, Sweetwater, if you need anything.
He looks back in your direction, and he just kind of gives a slight nod, and then he proceeds on, walking along through the rows of the graves, stopping every once in a while and pausing with the handgun pointed down.
Yeah, Kia's gonna kind of lean over to Solomon. Are all of your reverends this crazy, or just this one?
Well, he might be Episcopalian. I don't know, but
Kiyo has no idea what that means.
I don't either. I just offended a whole group of Christians. I apologize. I'm Roman Catholic. We all, yeah, we're our own brand and screwed up.
As someone who grew up, yes, I understand that.
So, so you all make your way back toward the Sweetwater Saloon?
Yeah.
All right.
I think, try to keep an eye.
Getting a centralized place would also be for the best, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Olive, Duncan, Dr. Fletcher, and Dr. Viola, when you come out of the marshal's office, Dr. Viola, do you follow them? You see them going up the road toward the doctor's office with the bodies?
Yeah, because I don't want the local doctor to get himself infected or butcher anything.
I mean, you can't really butcher a dead thing.
You know what? He might butcher all the evidence, and we might not find out what caused it. So I don't really trust him. I don't know anything about his capabilities, and it's a puzzle she wants to solve. How this is working, and how is it transmitting, and what the heck is going on?
All right, so you follow them. They get you all make your way up to his office at the end of the road. He opens the door and has Duncan put one of the bodies down on an exam table. He puts the other one down on the second table, and he starts immediately pulling out some tools and things, a la Johnny Depp in the Sleepy Hollow movie, pulling out and setting out all these interesting tools and things like that. Grabs a set of goggles and puts on a pair of gloves and kind of covers his face. looks back at Olive. He goes, you have the bag with the heads. Yes, yes.
I do.
I'll take those.
Hang on a second. Is Viola there? Is Viola there?
Yeah, Viola kind of comes up after, like, as they're putting the bodies on the tables and things, and he starts getting prepared.
I'm scared to give him the heads. Should I give him the heads?
Well, Miss Olive, go ahead and give him one. We're gonna split this up. We have 2 doctors and two bodies. We're gonna set up, and Miss Olive, if you would be able to stay behind and record, write down what we're doing, so that we do not have to take off our gloves to write our observations down.
Yeah.
That would be.
That's
Please,
totally
please keep your face covered. Keep the gloves on. Do not go anywhere close to the deadly fumes. You know, the fumes of the dead. I mean, not that they're deadly. You know what? It's been a day, Miss Olive. Just stay as far away from the bodies as you can, and write down whatever the good doctor and I find out, so we can figure out why these people don't know what they're doing. I mean, this Marshall thinks he's 23 years old, and he just brought flowers to his sweetheart yesterday.
Okay, I turn to the other doctor. Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
How old are you?
Oh, how old am I? Yeah, I am. Let me see. DM checks their notes. I'm gonna be 42 in a couple of months.
Right. Okay. Does that
How
sound
how old are you?
26. Last time I checked.
Charlie went
You-
full loop there, and it was
You just
amazing.
looped. It was awesome.
I loved the loop thing. It's really funny.
What's happening? Sorry. I'm so
Hey,
sorry.
Callie,
It's this town.
at some point, you're going to have to say around the world, and it's going to have to skip at that exact point. It'll be perfect.
Around the world, the world, the world, the world, the world.
Err.
I am so sorry.
It's
but
okay.
It's fine, Callie. It's pretty great.
So, yes, he definitely looks like he's probably an early 40s gentleman. Like, he does not look like he's older or younger than that, particularly.
Okay, I give him the head.
He takes the one bag. He looks at Dr. Viola when he's, are you planning to stay and also look on? Yes, that's excellent. 2 heads are better than 1. And he looks from one bag to the other and back again and goes, 2 heads.
Hilarious, sir. Hilarious. Let's set up 2 workspaces. Let's see what we can find out. Miss Olive is gonna stay with us and record our findings.
Oh,
So-
good. We'll dictate to you then.
So that we can work faster, and make sure that we can find out what is causing this, and make sure that nobody else is afflicted, because it seems that other people in this town are now starting to suffer from amnesia.
Amnesia? Well, I mean, Marty in the jail has definitely completely lost his mind. But we think
Well,
that perhaps
sir-
he took a fall.
Yeah, but the marshal thinks he's 23 years old. He runs errands for the grocery store, and just brought flowers to his sweetheart yesterday.
That's completely out of character for the gentleman.
That's what I'm saying. He seriously thinks he is 23 years old. He has lost about 20 years of his life, of memories. So we will have to figure this out and make sure that there is no contagion in here that makes people forget what happens.
So you're saying there's a lot of afflictions of the mind. Ah, well, then we'll start with the heads. That's where the brains are. He takes his head and he dumps it out from the bag onto another smaller table. And he says, all right, then I guess we should get started. And he points over. There's some gloves there that you can wear. And if you need a mask, there's some extra masks over there that have been clean and laundered. And he kind of looks over the head and he kind of picks up. And he just sort of starts removing the top of the head to sort of get into, and, you know, kind of takes a saw and starts sawing off the top of the head. So, do you help him with his, or are you going to investigate yours separately?
Well, yeah, I definitely want to suit up and do my own investigation on the other side, so that we can go ahead a little further. And I definitely want to see if I can take some samples that we can safely stash in like little. Probably got little glass containers.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got various vials and things like that. Some of
Yes.
them already occupied on the shelves, and some a variety of empty ones.
Yeah, but so before I start, I want to see if we can take some samples, and then slowly start dissecting and seeing if there's what I can see if there's anything that is absolutely not how it's supposed to be, because I've seen bodies before, so that we can figure out if there's anything that's different about these bodies.
All right. So what kind of roll do you want to make? You can make some kind of science, biology, chemistry, a medicine roll, whatever is your better skill for this sort of thing.
Well, I do have science, biology, but medicine is the better one.
Okay.
Let's see.
And he's going to do biology because he is good at biology, apparently. Excellent. All right. So the two of you get to work, and Olive, you are kind of sitting back a little ways in between taking notes as both of them dictate as they kind of cut into these heads and start to investigate. And a little while goes by. Solomon and Kiyo, you were going back to the Sweetwater, correct? All right. So we'll say that this is probably going to be at least an hour of an initial examination of these heads. So both you and the doctor, as you sort of are examining and sort of taking samples and going through them a little bit at a time, you both start to notice there is some kind of issue with the brain, like almost as if these brains are smaller than they should be, but not from decay or from any sort of animals or insects having done any damage to them. There is damage in that sense, but just in terms of like they seem to have gotten smaller prior to death, as if something was afflicting these two people over time.
So thinking, my brain just took a complete fart.
Well, I will say too, with that medicine roll, you would think of the brains kind of remind you of, instead of a fully formed human brain, almost like a step back in the brain's evolution, sort of like you think you'd find a brain in this condition in a less intelligent creature.
Like a monkey.
Perhaps.
So while I'm looking at this, I'm going to be talking to Miss Olive and say, Miss Olive, this brain is not as evolved as it should be. This reminds me more of an ape's brain than a human brain. Something has definitely been affecting this gentleman's brain. And then, I just look over my shoulder and address the doctor and say, Sir, have you noticed the same thing with your head?
Indeed, it is definitely not as... if I didn't know better, I'd say someone had replaced them, but it's impossible. I wonder.
I would just like to say that 2 zombies were outside. I don't think anything's impossible right now.
Fair. Perhaps, maybe we should collect a living sample to sort of compare against.
A living sample of an undead person.
No, I don't. I'm not a person or an undead person. I'm saying, what if the local dogs or something? What if we bring it in and see if there's the same sort of condition being experienced by other creatures, other living creatures, and then we can determine if this was, because this appears to have happened before they died. So perhaps, if it's not just the humans, if it's maybe I could go get a dog. There's some stray dogs down the road.
So you're thinking this might be a degenerative disease that might start with the amnesia?
Perhaps, and it could, if it's environmental, we can see if it's just afflicting people or if it's afflicting other species and things like that, and we can get more information that way. Of course, if we run across another one of these walking dead, perhaps before we cut, maybe we could try to leave the head intact to the body and see if that makes a difference. Though this is quite a clean cut, I see, on both heads.
Yeah, Miss Kiyo is very, very talented with sharp edges. However, I am not sure that I want to kill an innocent creature just to look at their brain.
But it's for science. I mean, it would be important so that we could learn more, because if this is afflicting others, you said the marshal's having trouble and young Martin, and what if others are sick, and we need to learn as much as we can, as quickly as we can.
I understand, but do we have somebody in town who has livestock that they would slaughter anyways, instead of killing an innocent creature that we're not going to do anything with it?
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose we could check in with
pigs.
Well, Mr. Jacobs has a cattle ranch that we could check in. I'm sure he has some cows or pigs or things like that. If I mean, that takes more time. I mean, the dogs are right around the corner.
Yeah, we're not killing innocent dogs.
Fine. No innocent dog killing today, then.
No. And then, the cattle rancher will probably be very interested in this too, because if this is a disease, it might affect the meat.
Oh, maybe that's where this is coming from. Okay, yes, you make a valid point. Yes. I see you're very good at your trade, then. Yes. Indeed.
All right, sir, would you take care of that, and I will start looking at the rest of the body?
Oh, well, I was considering staying and doing some more samples too. What about Olive, right?
Yes.
What if you take that fellow sitting out on the porch that's missing his hat, and the two of you could go and talk to Mr. Jacobs?
Okay. Is that okay, Love? Or do you still need me to write stuff down?
Viola, do you need her to stay and write stuff down?
I mean, we can always send Duncan by himself. Duncan should be able to do this by himself.
Did I hear my name?
Absolutely, Mr. Duncan. We need your help, sir.
Am I have to carry something that's dead again?
Well, it depends. It definitely won't be human, though.
What? I mean, do they still qualify?
Well, sir, we would like an animal from the cattle ranch that is destined for slaughter, so that we can test the animals to see that they are not sick. We would really appreciate if you would head out there and see if you can get us a pig or a cow.
Can I go see if Sol and Kiyo want to take a ride with me?
Absolutely.
All right.
And Mr. Duncan,
yeah,
if you could let us at Kiyo and Mr. Solomon know that the marshal seems to be suffering from an amnesia.
What's amnesia?
He has forgotten 20 years of his life. He thinks he's 23 years old.
Oh, hell.
Yes, please let him know that it seems that people are suffering from amnesia, memory loss.
Do you think I'm getting that amnesia? I keep forgetting where I put my hat.
I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Unless you forget your name and what you're doing. I think you're fine, Mr. Duncan. And you did use the gloves and the face covering. You should be fine.
I did use them. Miss Olive can vouch for me.
Yes. So if you could go ahead and let Mr. Solomon and Miss Kiyo know, and go ahead and get me a cow or a pig.
Okay. Sure, I can do that. I'm gonna go find my hat too while we're at it, because I don't want that amnesia thing.
Absolutely. We do not want you to have that.
All right. Well, if any more dead people come up walking, make sure, looked like chopping off their heads. Miss Kiyo took them out pretty lickety split, so, yeah, do that.
Very clearly, and if you don't have a knife, go ahead and blow their heads off with your gun.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, that too. All right. take care. I'll be back as soon as I can. And he sort of ducks out the door and starts running up the street. So what are Sol and Kiyo doing at the Sweetwater when you go back and you have this young gentleman in tow who seems to be completely beside himself? He's not freaking out, but he's just very, like, you can feel the stress kind of coming off him as he's looking around. He's like, nothing looks familiar. I don't understand.
Yeah. Kiyo kind of looked to, probably bring him into the saloon, and kind of looked to the bartender. And do you know who this is?
That's Mr. Wells. Hey, Mr. Wells, how you doing today? He's like, oh my God, what's my first name? And he's looks at Sol, looks at Kiyo. Donovan? Donovan, I believe, is your first name, sir? Donovan. Oh, Donovan. It doesn't. He sits down heavily in a chair. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't ring a bell.
Go ahead.
You first.
Mr. Phibbs, do you remember who we are, who you are?
Yeah, well, I'm Samuel Phibbs. I'm the owner and operator of the Sweetwater Saloon here in Sweetwater. And, well, that's Jason, and that's Molly, and Patsy somewhere wandering out back cleaning up something, and that's Donovan Wells, and you're Sol, and that's Kiyo, and you're traveling with Olive and Miss Dr. Viola. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, perfect. There seems to be a strange case of forgetfulness that is, it's hit a few members of your town.
Kiyo will just kind of motion to Donovan.
Can I ask, does it have anything to do with the dead fellow who I served a drink to this morning?
Oh, hell knows. There's a mighty amount of weirdness.
You don't say.
I do.
The body kind of gave that away.
Yeah, so apparently there's two dead fellers that were up and walking about.
Wait, there was two of them?
There was two of them. It was Mr. Dunsweather.
Oh, hell. He got shot, what, almost a month ago. Damn.
Well, he was up and about going after that Marty feller that was in the jail cell. And Marty was out and about because Marshall Whitman lost his marbles and let out Marty and Hank. Lord only knows where Hank is now.
Hank? So the one you brought Hank back. Hey, Jason, you ain't seen Hank this morning, have you? Jason looks over, is like, no, I ain't seen him. I'll ask the girls. I'll be right back. And he wanders off.
He's probably in the wind by now, but not to mention that the general store owner, Miss Hunter, apparently has also lost a certain degree of her memory. We haven't determined how much.
Yeah, I saw the front window of the store shattered out. I thought maybe one of the boys did it.
No, apparently she did that with a book.
Fair enough.
So I think what we need to do right now is just maybe get Mr. Donovan here a drink and see if he can remember anything. I'm a bit at a loss.
We'll start with the drink and we'll see what we can do there, son. So Donovan here is he's our local school teacher. Does a good job from what I hear. I mean, I don't have any little ones, but stories I hear from the parents and stuff in town, kids like him well enough. He's a good guy. Pretty sociable. He's been in here a couple times for a drink. You sure you don't remember this place, sir? Donovan shakes his head. He's like, nothing looks familiar. None of it. The name doesn't sound right. I have no idea. No idea. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like looks at the thing and said, "One for me is a drink for me as well, too, please." I feel like it's going to be one of those days.
He pours you one. He pours a third one and looks at Sol and just kind of slides it in your direction. He's like, "These ones are on the house. You've had a hell of a morning already, I think."
Yeah, why not? He's gonna kind of brush the dirt off of the stool where the dead man was sitting and take that seat.
So, Samuel leans on the bar. Think that's the last dead man we're going to see today, or what do you think?
I sure hope so.
Well, the Reverend's sitting over his gravesite or cemetery and making sure it is.
Oh, yeah, the Reverend. Oh, that boy. Ooh, he's, yeah, he's, I mean, not a bad fella, but
Didn't have his marbles to be lost.
yeah, that's probably a good way to explain him. He's,
Passionate.
very, and, well, based on some of the sermons he's given at church, I'm sure this is, it's gonna be right up his alley. He's all, end of days, and we're all going to go to hell because we all sin and don't, repent and all this, and carries that Bible around everywhere he goes, and
He did look particularly excited about this, so
well, I mean, I guess if it is the end of days, damn, he was right the whole time. And he pours himself a drink and he swigs it down and just shakes his head. Hell, never thought that Sweetwater would end up with this kind of trouble, but I mean, if it is what it is.
well, hopefully it's not too much more trouble.
Oh well. I don't know. And I think we will fade out with you in the bar, the doctors examining bodies. Duncan is at some point on his way to retrieve the two of you.
And his hat, hopefully.
And his hat, hopefully. Oh yeah, both of you make me spot rolls. See if you can find Duncan's hat since you're both at the bar.
Hey, that's a 9.
Ooh. Alright, so Kiyo, you see a very familiar hat, and it's sitting on top of one of the skulls that's on the wall. You know how this place has all the different skulls? It's one of the bigger, like, snake-looking skulls, and it's sort of hanging from, like, the top. Just kind of like somebody picked it up and put it up there. So you find Duncan's hat.
Kiyo will go and collect and say, he seems to keep forgetting that everywhere.
Yep.
At least we solved one mystery.
And with that, we will fade away on the strange memory issues and The Walking Dead that are now tormenting Stillwater.
Oh boy.
So, why don't we go around and do some plugs? And I'm going to put Callie on the spot. Hi, Callie.
Hi. I'm Callie. You can follow me at Callie on Twitter. I do art. I'm going to open up $8 bust again soon. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Also on Thursday at 4:30, it's Furry Road where I play a duck, and a very awkward duck who is in the middle of a very awkward situation right now. And
It's
I have a lot of
adorable.
I have a lot of other streams, but you can find out about that on my Twitter. Okay, thank you.
Very good. And if you're curious about Callie's art, our character art is done by Callie. So here's some examples right here on the stream of some of Callie's artwork, which is fantastic. So,
Thank you.
oh, you're welcome. And Vex, how about you?
Hi, I'm Vex. You can find me on Twitter at VexyHexy. Much like Callie, on Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. EST. We play Retroverse Furry Road, which is a blast and a half. We're currently at a giant dance. That's why Callie's character is so awkward. My character has just spent the entire time playing games and dominating everything she comes up against in terms of gaming, because she's competitive. You can also find, you can find Callie. I'm going to show this on Friday with Retroverse on Scotty Hood's channel, and you can find me on the opposite Fridays. Aside from that, that's it. I stream sometimes, but that's on my channel as well. So
Excellent. And how about you, Dr. Viola Vivacia?
Yeah, You can find me here on Twitch as Vivacia. I stream a variety of games, but lately I've been on a Sims kick. You know, love it, love it. Well, every other Tuesday I'm here. Next Tuesday, we're gonna have our finale of our mini Apocalypse World campaign on Other Docs channel, where I am the Maestro D. I run the Traveling Travesty, which is a traveling brothel, which is attached to a cult. We created this world, and it's pretty crazy. So we will finish that mini campaign up next Tuesday on Other Docs channel. You saw my Twitter. That's Miss Vivacia, and yeah, if you want to know more, that's where you go.
Excellent. And D-Sword.
Hi, everybody. I am Derek Sword, DSword16 on Twitch and Twitter. You can always find me here every other Tuesday on Uncanny Adventures, of course, for Cthulhu. You can also find me on the Stalwart Initiative channel on Twitch, which is relatively new. It's coming back. I am actually going to be DMing this coming Saturday for the second time ever on stream. And then the following Saturday, I will be starting a 12-week Eberron campaign on that same channel. So come on by and check out what we get up to on there. And then you can always find me as a co-host on the podcast Monster Crush with the amazing Heavenly and Ellie. And there we talk about monsters and cryptids and ghosts and miscellaneous paranormal entities, and whether they'd be good on a date and whether we want to smooch them. And that podcast comes out every other week on Wednesdays. And look for an upcoming episode soon. I'll be on that one, and wherever podcasts are found.
Outstanding. And I'm Jeanette. I am the keeper here and the DM here on Uncanny Adventures for various adventures. You can find us here for this game every other Tuesday. On Monday nights, every other Monday, so the off Monday, we do another Call of Cthulhu game at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And every other Sunday, we have a D&D 5e Skull and Shackles game at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And also you can find me a couple times during the week on Scotty Hood's channel, usually Saturdays, afternoon, evening, playing Ghosts of Saltmarsh and Chaos Crew. And so that's what I'm up to. And also we release these as videos on YouTube, and I've been putting them up as podcast episodes for those who just don't have time to sit and watch but can listen. So check that out. Just look up Uncanny Adventures wherever you find podcasts, and you'll find some of our early adventures. So thank you all for playing again today. This is fun. I'm enjoying this, and I hope you all are too. Craziness and dead people and all that, and
Always
amnesia.
fun with zombies.
So, and thanks everyone for watching and who catches us later. And everybody have a good couple weeks. We'll be back in 2 weeks for more questions, concerns, hopefully some answers here in Shadows Over Stillwater. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Take care. Goodbye.